we indeed had an investigation after we got the apostille document of Sergei Bubka, which was certified to by the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine, dated on October 31. Then we also have the signed statements of Vitaly Petrov, signed in every page, from these pages up to the last page with the signature and the date, October 7, 2021. And so because of this very, documents which are authenticated, apostilled, signed, we conducted an investigation. Our board created an administrative committee to investigate the matter. The matter of the alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Mr. Vitaly Petrov and the falsification of liquidation reports of EJ Obiena. So that is what we did. And of course, because the PSC, with its goodwill and good graces, wanted to mediate, which was just right. We thank President Butch Ramirez for initiating a mediation, professional mediation by the Philippine a mediation and the adjudication arbitration association. And we immediately acceded. We stopped our investigation and acceded to the request of Chairman Butch Ramirez to intercede so that things will be clarified. Unfortunately, well, we immediately joined the mediation by the PSC and stopped our investigation. EJ Obiena refused and snubbed the PSC. And that is why the PSC had to pronounce on December 27, since EJ Obiena already came out that he is not going to mediation on December 26. It was therefore cut. It was discontinued. And Chairman of the PSC, Butch Ramirez, announced that this mediation is discontinued because EJ Obiena is not joining the mediation. And so with that, we continued, since there is no more mediation that is being conducted by the PSC, our administrative committee to investigate this matter had to therefore continue. After the continuation of this particular investigation by the committee headed by Director for Region 7, Boy Chukinhoy, with 4 members, they have been doing work for more than 50 days, has already come out with this fact-finding report that was therefore in re alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Mr. Vitaly Petrov and falsification of liquidation reports of Ernest Jan Obiena. This was submitted to the board, and the board has studied this, has discussed this thoroughly, the findings, and then finally the board approved the report in toto, including its conclusions and findings, and likewise its recommendations. So this particular fact-finding report of the Administrative Committee of PATAFA to investigate the matter is now an approved resolution of the board that already approves this report, and this is now what will be implemented by the board. And with that, I would like to ask Shirley that we go and now directly proceed to the report by the committee, so that our guests and everyone will see what is the finding of the committee as approved by the board. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you, Chairman Rodriguez. Before we proceed with the presentation of the findings and recommendations of the committee, may we request the members of media to put in your identifier or your name the media outlet that you are connected with for easy identification later. Thank you. As stated by Chairman Rodriguez, now we actually move into the meat of this press conference, which is the findings and recommendations. And to start this off, we would like to call on Engineer Noel Salva to present the findings. Noel?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Noel Silva in behalf of the investigative committee formed by the PATAFA Board of Trustees tasked to investigate on this Obiena matter on his alleged falsification of documents and mishandling of funds in relation to the coaching fees. So our report was submitted before the Board of Trustees last December 29, 2021. The committee spent almost couple of months going over the documents, interviewing people related to this issue, and also conducting hearings. The investigative committee went over Zoom meetings as well. On August 31, the Mr. Wico, Maricor Pacheco, and Mr. Ernest John Obiena and Emerson Obiena had a Zoom meeting wherein they were discussing the plans or future plans of EJ regarding the Paris Olympics and the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics. During the meeting, Mr. Wico have been requesting for the contact details of Vitaly so he could congratulate him, thank him for his support, and also create a harmonious relationship with him. Also, during this meeting, EJ Obiena showed avoidance and also his reservations. That's why on September 8th, Mr. Wico directly called Mr. Bubka to ask for the contact details of Vitaly. And in September 9, they had a three-way call with Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov. It was during this time when Mr. Wico was informed that Mr. Vitaly hasn't been receiving his coaching fees from EJ. The three of them also agreed that they will be producing signed documents for Vitaly Petrov and apostille documents from Bubka. On the right portion of your screen, you would see the signed statements of Vitaly Petrov dated October 4 and October 7. We highlighted here the important items 28 to 31, wherein you could see that the questions are as follows. How much was Mr. Vitaly's coaching fees? Vitaly answered here that I didn't receive any fees every month. And on item 29, as far as you know, what was the arrangement for the payment of Mr. Vitaly, coach's fees from PATAFA? As I know, there were no arrangements on my monthly fees, which I never received. On item 30, was Mr. Vitaly aware that PATAFA was paying for his monthly coaching fees? Why or why not? I didn't know, as we were not in contact with PATAFA, and I believe to EJ that PATAFA didn't pay me. When did Mr. Vitaly find out that PATAFA was paying for his monthly coach's fees? Please explain. On September 9, 2021, during the telephone conversation with Sergey Bubka and Philip Wico. So this also confirms the conversation that went through among Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov in September 9. On the other hand, you would see on the right portion of your screen also the apostille documents of Sergey Bubka, dated October 22, 2021. On item number 12, you would see that on September 9, during conversation between me, Philip, and Vitaly, it was revealed that PATAFA paid Vitaly not directly the monthly salary through EJ, but on the other hand, EJ claimed to Vitaly that he did not receive the money, and therefore he didn't give any money to Vitaly. In the meantime, Vitaly said that he received 4,000 euros from EJ in 2020. So this again confirms inconsistency with the signed documents of Vitaly that the September 9 call transpired among Sergey Bubka, Philip Wico, and Vitaly Petrov. On item 13 in the conversation, Philip described the situation that PATAFA has paid Vitaly the monthly fee through EJ in the amount of 2,000 euros every month since the beginning of 2018. And in item number 14, let me highlight that Vitaly also said that last year, 2020, he asked EJ why PATAFA didn't pay anything for his coaching. And EJ said that some money was allocated for his training by the Olympic Commission of Philippines and sent to PATAFA. PATAFA, however, used this money for other purposes. In other words, this money was stolen by PATAFA and EJ did not receive anything. So you would see on the lower portion of your screen the apostille documents of Sergey Bubka, who's the person responsible for the scholarship of EJ from the period of 2014 up till 2017. He is also the World Athletics Vice President and currently the President for the Ukraine Olympic Committee. On your screen, the first question that will be going in our minds would be, was there really fund sent to EJ Obiena? So in the screen, you will see that there's actually 13,320,000 pesos worth of funds sent to EJ Obiena, either through bank deposits or release checks through her mother, Jeanette Obiena. Contrary to the other reports or other interviews that only 3,176,000 was released to EJ, this slide would show you that 13.3 million was actually the actual figure based on the documents submitted to the committee. Out of this 13.3 million, 5,375,000 pesos or 85,000 in euros is intended for coaching fee. Now, please do take note the timeline here, which is May 2018 up till August 2021, because in 2017, the scholarship of EJ had already expired. So since he's still engaging the coaching services of Vitaly, we have to pay Vitaly 2018 onwards. And then it was August 2021 when this issue transpired, and also the last fund that was transferred to EJ amounting to 1.710 million through land bank check dated August 11, 2020. So again, out of 13.3 million, 5 million is related for coaching fee, which is equivalent to 85,000 euros. Now the breakdown of this 85,000 euros is 15,000 euros, which is 1,500 euros for the first 10 months since May 2018. Starting May 2019, there was an increase in coaching fee from 1,500 to 2,500, and this lasted for 28 months, or equivalent to 70,000. If you total the 15,000 and 70,000, that would be your 85,000 euros, all sent to EJ Obiena in the span of May 2018 up till August 2021. And on your screen now are the proof of payments of those transactions: PNB deposit slips, Metrobank deposit slips, land bank checks, and also logbooks from PSC, which was picked up by Jeanette Obiena, amounting to 6.68 million. So what are the facts and findings of the committee? So number one, in November 12, 2021, the PATAFA President Philip Wico called an emergency meeting of the Board of Trustees. During the meeting, President Wico informed the board that he received communications from Mr. Sergey Bubka and Vitaly Petrov regarding the training coach of Mr. Ernest John Obiena on the alleged non-payment of coaching fees. Acting on the report of President Wico, the Board of Trustees then created an administrative committee to investigate the alleged non-payment of coaching fees of Vitaly and falsification of acknowledgement letters submitted by EJ Obiena. In November 14, the admin committee convened and requested all documents from the PATAFA relative to the payment of coaching fees of Petrov. Interviews were conducted. Directives for hearings were also sent to people who are involved, including EJ Obiena himself, who did not appear despite several notices from the committee. Please do take note that we had sent 3 directives from EJ Obiena to EJ Obiena, and also we included the apostille documents and signed statements when we sent those notices and directives. In November 15, the committee sent a memorandum to explain to EJ Obiena why he should not be dropped from the national training pool for submitting falsified liquidation reports and for failure to pay the coaching fees of Mr. Petrov. In November 17, President Wico received a letter through email from Mr. Petrov thanking him as he has already been paid in full amount. Mr. Petrov also attached the transactions as proof of payments to him. So these are the basis of the committee for the payments of Petrov. You would be able to see that on this next slide. So this is the summary of the document sent by Mr. Petrov. In September 2020, he received his first payment to him. The supporting document is the acknowledgement letter signed by Vitaly Petrov. In November 19 and November 24, there were bank transfers from Arab Bank. So in November 24, the total amount sent was 20,878. As of this date also, Mr. Petrov claimed to have received the sum of 23,800 as coaching fees. However, as of this date, November 24, EJ Obiena should have already paid Petrov 62,500. Thus, the amount of 38,000 euros, or the difference between 62,500 or 23,800 remained unpaid. After the payment of 23,800 in November 24, Mr. Petrov again claimed that he received 5,000 in September 2021, making the total amount received 28,800. However, again, as of August 2021, Mr. Petrov should have been paid the amount of 85,000 euros already. The amount of 56,121 remained unpaid. Again, as I reiterated in the timeline earlier, that the money intended for this coaching fee is from May 2018 up till August 2021. So all those 85,000 euros were already sent to EJ by August 2021. And as of that date, Petrov has only received 28,878. Hence, the amount of 56,121 remained unpaid. It was only on November 4, 5, and 9 that the unpaid amount of 16,000 was transferred by EJ Obiena to Mr. Petrov, while the 40,000 was transferred from a dollar account in Arab Bank and from Jeanette Obiena. While there are other proof of payments presented by Petrov in red fonts, these cannot be considered as payments from EJ Obiena because these payments did not directly come from EJ, but from an unknown dollar account in Arab Bank and from his mother, Jeanette Obiena. The money received by EJ Obiena for his training expenses, including the coaching fees, were all deposited to his account and not to the Arab Bank or the account of Jeanette Obiena. So as far as the accounting is concerned, these payments did not come from him. Based on the foregoing, as a total amount of 85,000 was credited to Mr. Petrov from September 2020 to November 9, 2021. However, please do take note that 66% of this amount, or 56,000 euros, was paid only from November 4 to November 9. So in a span of 4 to 5 days, 66% was suddenly transferred to Mr. Petrov's account, coming from different sources. Obviously, the remittances, transfers from the Arab Bank and from Jeanette Obiena were resorted to in order to recover the irregularities committed by EJ Obiena and to make it appear that Mr. Petrov was paid his coaching fees, when in fact, he was not. Based on the proof of payment sent by Petrov as well, the first payment he directly received from EJ Obiena was 3,000 euros in September 2020 for his coaching fee and virtual competition bonuses, which is 28 months delayed compared to when EJ first received a budget for coaching fee dated May 2018. As you remember in the timeline, starting May 2018, we already sent EJ a budget for coaching fee, but he was only able to pay Petrov in September 2020 based on the sent documents by Petrov himself. Also, regarding the falsification of documents, on October 8, 2019, EJ Obiena sent to Janet Obiena an email with attached signed acknowledgement letters for payment of coaching fees of Mr. Petrov in the amount of 2,500 per month for months of May to November 2019. The said email was then forwarded to PATAFA on October 18, 2019. So for 7 months, it was claimed by EJ Obiena that he was able to secure signed acknowledgement letters by Petrov. Considering that the first payment of 3,000 was made only in September based from Petrov documents, the acknowledgement letters for May 2019 to November 2019 with electronic signature of Petrov are all falsified. These acknowledgement letters made it appear that Mr. Petrov received his coaching fees from May 2019 to November 2019, when in fact he did not receive any fee for the said period. On the left portion of your screen, you will see the actual email of Ernest John Obiena transmitting the signed acknowledgement letters signed by Petrov sent to PATAFA. However, again, 3,000 euros was only paid in September 2020, but the claim here is that he had already paid Vitaly from May 2019 to November 2019. On the lower portion of your screen, you will see the actual documents wherein the signature of Vitaly is attached, encircled in red font. While EJ claims that he has been asking PATAFA that he wanted to direct the payments from PATAFA to Vitaly directly. Contrary to that claim of EJ Obiena, he had been requesting PATAFA to direct the payment of coaching fees to Mr. Petrov. However, the emails between him and then PATAFA Treasurer Rosilia Arteaga would show that PATAFA repeatedly asked him to give the bank account of Mr. Petrov so that PATAFA can direct the payment to him to avoid additional bank charges, similar to what PATAFA was doing with the coaches of its other foreign athletes. Quoted below is the email of Ms. Arteaga to EJ Obiena on October 30. As I read, pero whose account yung Arab Bank? Baka kasi ask ng PSC yan kasi naka-erase ang account name. I know you want to protect the account name, pero sa government hindi pwede takpan. EJ, as highlighted here, kasi you should not be doing this. Kung dinediretso na lang namin sa bank account ni Coach Vitaly ang coaching fees niya, wala ka nang babayaran sa charges. Just like what we are doing to coaches of Natalie Uy, Eric Ray, Christina Knott, and William Morrison. PSC does not reimburse bank charges. Principal amount na accepted nila. We are also charged when we send via telegraphic transfers N26 Bank. Sa N26 Bank, muna hindi rin namin ma-reimburse sa PSC. I am just wondering, pwede mo naman sa kanya iabot ng cash every month and let him sign the acknowledgement receipt. Ganun lang kadali at mas naliliquidate mo na ng mas maaga pa at no more bank charges in your end. That's why mas smooth ang transaction if we directly pay the coaching fee to Vitaly, service fee to your PT and your osteopath. Even dun sa cook, we can directly pay him. Just give us the bank details. We will take care of the bank charges. So please send us the original house receipt, contract, and other receipts, pakilagyan if for liquidation or for reimbursement. Again, this was taken from the actual email between the PATAFA Treasurer Rosilia Arteaga and EJ Obiena. The foregoing email shows that it was EJ Obiena who refused to give PATAFA the bank account of Mr. Petrov and not the other way around. For the recommendations, may I please ask the chairman of this committee to present the following items. Chairman Chukenhoy.
Thank you very much, Noel, for the very thorough discussion of the findings and recommendations. At this point, we would like to call on Mr. Felix Chukenhoy Jr. to relay to you the recommendations of the committee.
Thank you, Attorney Shirley. And thank you, Engineer Noel, for that presentation. The Administrative Committee made this recommendation and approved by the Board of Trustees last December 29, 2021. And these are, number one, Ernest John Obiena be dropped from the National Training Pool of Athletes of PATAFA effective immediately. Number two, a criminal complaint for estafa filed against EJ Obiena insofar as the funds of PATAFA in the amount of 966,389.80 pesos are concerned. Number three, a complaint be filed against Mr. Vitrali Petrov before the World Athletics for violation of the Integrity Code of Conduct. Number four, the engagement of Mr. Petrov as PATAFA coach be immediately terminated. Number five, Mr. James Michael Laferte be declared as persona non grata insofar as the PATAFA is concerned. Number six, a copy of this report with the attachments to be forwarded to the Philippine Sports Commission and to the Commission on Audit based on the following findings of the committee. EJ Obiena misappropriated the amount of euro 40,147.92 or equivalent to 2,288,431.44, which were released to him by PATAFA PEC as payment for the coaching fee of Mr. Petrov, which were not paid as of August 2021. And Jeanette Obiena misappropriated the amount of Philippine pesos 624,116.76 she claimed from the PAC under the pretext that it is a reimbursement of the coaching fee paid to Mr. Petrov for the months of January 2019 to March 2019. So those are the recommendations made by the Administrative Committee. Thank you very much.
The slide is actually not a part of the investigative committee report, but we PATAFA decided, to address these frequent and repeated assertions of the athlete in media since November 16, when he held his first press conference. Okay, he always claimed in number one, the coaching fees have already been paid. Maybe late, but being late is not a crime, so no more issue. Now, we can answer this easily. In fact, it's legal. Okay. Number one, why were the payments made in November 2020, as Mr. Noel said in his report, more than 3 years since 2018? Bakit ganun katagal? Okay, pangalawa. In this period from May 2018 hanggang 2020, September 2020, nasaan yung perang binigay? Who was the money that PATAFA gave you totaling 85,000? That was PATAFA's money. Saan siya pinarada o saan siya nakalagay? Number three, why are third parties paying Petrov when you, EJ Obiena, were given the money by PATAFA to pay your coach? And number four, payments by third parties are not the proper liquidation of the money that was given to you, EJ Obiena. You got the money, you account for it, not third parties. Okay. So number two, okay, Obiena keeps on saying, why am I responsible for paying my coach? Okay. Okay, the answer to that is, for more than 3 years of receiving the money, we never heard any complaints from you. You would never complain, okay? And number two, in October 21, I think you guys saw the slide of the investigative committee. There were email exchanges between Obiena, you, and PATAFA staff. PATAFA staff was asking for the details of the bank statement of Vitaly Petrov so that PATAFA can already pay the coach directly. But you just ignored the question. You never answered it in the email. Okay, number three, why should I do my liquidation? I am not an accountant. Again, for more than so many years, so many months, you were submitting liquidation reports, because if you did not do so, your financial support will stop. So to keep it going, you have to submit liquidation reports. No complaint there from you. Okay. Your mother, Janet Obiena, has gathered from the email exchanges in the whole of October 2021, was helping you do the liquidation because she is an auditor. Okay? And finally, I have been prejudged by PATAFA. He always says that. Ako, na-prejudge na, so what's the use of participating? Okay? Now, number one, on November 15, as shown by the letter in the investigative committee, the letter came from the investigative committee. They were careful enough not to use words, accusing words. In fact, I will quote it. Open quote. It appears that documents were falsified. The key word is appears. Okay. You were also given a number of chances to explain. No prejudgment there. Okay. And finally, during the committee investigation, you were directed by PATAFA committee on 3 occasions on November 29, December 5, and December 11, 2021, to sit down with them in a Zoom meeting for an interview and tell your side. But you failed to appear in any of the interview. So ladies and gentlemen, we address this because bugbog na ang PATAFA in the media. We are trying to give, okay, these are the answers so that there will be no more questions. You can no longer propagate this, okay? Thank you, Shirley.